Good afternoon, Javier. First of all, I would like to ask you to tell me a bit about you, a bit about what you do, and how did you become an entrepreneur in the first place?
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Xavier. I started studying engineering like many people around here, and at some point I got attracted to research, did a PhD, and in an area which nowadays is kind of hot, which is speech processing, making you talk to the computer and then it recognizes you, Siri, Alexa, Google. So I did a few years of corporate work, a big corporation in Spain, and then I got sort of into the entrepreneurship in the company, and finally got an opportunity and I saw interest in some ideas I had, and I decided to go on my own. So at that point I moved to Lisbon. My family, my wife is from here. And so in here I got surprised actually that the Lisbon ecosystem was booming at the time. It was about 3.5 years ago. Started booming at the time with Web Summit that was starting to come here, and all the different incubators. And that sort of hooked me in, and I never looked for another job. I mean, that's entrepreneurship is what's fantastic. You are the owner of your future, of your destiny. So.
How did you come up with the idea for ELSA?
So I did not start the company. The idea came from somebody else. So ELSA was started in 2015 by two Vietnamese girls in San Francisco, in California. They are non-technical people, but they have a passion for education. ELSA is a mobile app and also technology behind that helps people pronounce better English, and hopefully in the future also other languages. So they started with the idea of helping people in an automated way, which would be cheaper and would be ubiquitous. They could have it anywhere with their cell phone. And soon they realized they needed technology. They could not just go with the APIs that would provide you some speech recognition. Those were not enough. So that's when we connected, and I came in as a late founder, or whatever, minority founder, whatever you want to call it. That's when we started the company here in Lisbon, and we built the team. So I became the chief scientist and CTO of the company.
And do you think that Portuguese English accent is getting better?
It's much better than the Spanish English accent,
yes.
But Portugal has an advantage that things on TV are not dubbed. And we can talk about why this is, or why it was in the first place, Portugal is small, whatever, but it's a huge advantage for the people. People grow up with the differences in pronunciations in their head. I mean, for us, even if I try, even if I practice with ELSA, or even if I read a lot or practice a lot, I will always have something. And Portuguese, you guys can get much closer and much faster to the target language. So yeah, it's Portuguese people can really learn very good English actually.
Yeah, I used to make fun of Italians when I lived in Italy that they didn't know the real voice of George Clooney. The Spanish don't know the real voice of George Clooney too.
We don't know either, and it's funny because when I started dating my wife, I was used to watch series and movies in Spanish. I was not, there we have the option now since many years ago to change to the original version. In my TV, I mean, one or the other comes by default. I don't even hear the difference. And she was always like, hey, they are speaking weird. They're speaking weird, so I would always go and change, and she would really make a point that now I noticed that, of course, the mouth is not synchronized with the audio. And now I realize, I figure it, I'm like, whoa, yeah, it's really weird. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I was sitting there happy, very happy to listen to George Clooney or to 007 speaking Spanish with their, very Central Spain accent, and American movie, fantastic.
You even change the names, for example. You don't say you two, you say you dos.
Yes, of course.
So
who knows
it's
you
pretty
too?
hard.
You too is, yeah, nobody knows you too there. But there's a few of them, yeah.
You were just saying in the beginning of this conversation that when you got to Lisbon, you were fascinated by the growth of our Portuguese ecosystem. For you, what's the main reason for this growth and what can contribute for us to grow more?
We're getting very deep in that, and I only have my opinions. But so, without, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, not in
Not
there.
everything.
But I do think that Portugal, for a long time, people were thinking that they were little and they could not
Like the
do
underdog.
because they are in the corner of Europe and they are poor us, we cannot, whatever. The newer generations, I think it's very different. I mean, people have gone abroad. Some people went to study in the US, everywhere in Europe. Portuguese people are, it's much easier for Portuguese people to go abroad and experience other things because of the language also than other people like Spanish, I would say, for example. And that brings back a lot of people that have the feeling that they can do things, and that even if, of course, there is a lot of things that have to be done on the government side to favor a lot more entrepreneurship, favor small companies so that they don't have to go through all the whole bureaucracy to move on, they can still go around it and they can really move the needle and do companies which we have seen. I mean, we've seen some companies that recently raised fantastic rounds here in Portugal, and to move really these companies at the level of US companies or Berlin companies or these big hubs in Europe. And what can we do? What can be done better? I have found problems here with bureaucracy in terms of visas. I need to bring somebody from outside of Europe. I have immense problems, a lot of time waiting. I mean, if you want to hire somebody that is from outside of Europe and you tell the person you have to wait 6 months in your country until you can come in, you lose the person, right? So do we want that for highly skilled people? We don't. So something needs to change there. I don't mean favors, but you know, really see what makes sense and see what really can be done so that things can be sped up or can be, if it makes sense for the country, which I think it does, right? And other than that, I mean, we don't need money. Of course, the money is nice, more funding, whatever, but we can find the funding elsewhere. We can go outside and find the funding. But we really need to be able to, the companies we make here, to not have these old-style bureaucratic blocks that you have to spend a long time to bypass, right?
Do you think Spain and the rest of the world should put their eyes on us?
No, they can continue with their lives. We can do also. I mean, we don't need any.
Because every eyes are on Silicon Valley. So.
Mm-hmm. But there is Silicon Valley, there is India. There's a lot of very high-tech places there. Hot spots in Europe also. They continue. London, Berlin. So I think we don't need more pressure than what we have. I mean, there is a disadvantage on this. If Lisbon all of a sudden becomes the hottest hub in Europe, and at the same time there is this impression that it is cheaper to have a company here, that means that big companies will start coming here, and they do. They started doing it. Start coming here and announce, okay, I'm going to hire 1,000 engineers. I'm going to hire 500 engineers. Where are they?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. Is there engineers here? I mean, where are they, right? That means two things. One thing, we need to bring a lot of people from outside. Fantastic, and let's try to do it. The other thing is salaries will dramatically go up. So then we have a huge divide of the engineers that do programming versus everybody else.
Oh, a big wage gap.
Exactly. So, and then for the small companies like us, we have problems then because we cannot pay those salaries. So, like, be careful. I mean, like, let everybody do their job. Let us get up to pace, and yeah, we'll get there. We'll get to the level of Silicon Valley. We are already at the level of Silicon Valley in quality of people, in quality of work, in ideas, in some startups that are really making it. But let's not overheat it, let's not burn it.
You said that you came to Lisbon because your wife is Portuguese. Is that the only reason why you came to Lisbon?
Well, no, I mean, look, if my wife was French, probably I would be in Paris. I mean, it's not about, it's a family decision, and but...
Was it a good decision?
So, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So first time I came to Portugal was with my parents when I was a kid. I don't remember too much about that time except for the pastéis de nata. Second time is when I came on my own, explore a bit. There was a technical conference here. That's when I met my wife. I was doing my PhD at that time, and it really, what struck me of the Portuguese culture is that people still have the feeling for each other. You go on the street. I go in with my stroller with my little baby, and people will let you pass, will care about you carrying something that is, you know, you need to take care of because you're not just bump onto it. It's something that you really feel that people are still care for each other, still culturally. You have these expressions. You ask for permission to leave. You excuse yourself when, you know, whatever, something which really helps in making sure that the community is together. And I really feel it's nice. It's nice. You feel that if you have some difficulty in the street, you fall or whatever, there will be somebody that will help you and will ask you and will ask how you are. Will call the ambulance, whatever. I don't know, in the US, will they do that? I mean, I'm sure there's always nice people everywhere, but it's a much more impersonal society. So coming to Portugal really brought back this feeling, and culturally Portuguese people are very nice. So yeah,
and
the food, yeah, the food is fantastic. The doces, the desserts. Fantastic, and then when you make them at home, it's even better. So yeah, definitely a good decision.
Was it that hard to learn Portuguese because Spanish claim they don't understand Portuguese? Was it that hard?
So at home my wife speaks Portuguese, I speak Catalan. So and we don't have any problem. People feel it strange that we have two languages going one direction and the other. We have no problem. So for me, hearing Portuguese very early on, it was a done deal. I mean, I can understand anything. Now, speaking only when I came here is when I really started speaking it in the street, and something funny happens. I bump still today. Sometimes nowadays, I bumped on somebody. I start speaking my Portuguese with this accent, right? Which is not. Sometimes somebody asked me if I was from Azores, but. So I have this accent which is not really Spanish because it's Catalan, my mother tongue is Catalan, but you can feel it, you can notice that it's not Portuguese. And still nowadays, sometimes people try to speak this Portuñol to me, which is like, I'm like,
we make an effort.
Sorry, can you speak Portuguese? I mean, because I do understand it perfectly and I don't have a problem speaking it. And oh, yeah. But you feel that they actually try to adapt to you, right? But yeah, no, I mean, I was born bilingual. English came afterwards. Portuguese came in. Some French. I don't know. I'm running a language company, so I better have some linguistics.
Knowledge.
Yeah.
So, what do you want for ELSA's future and for your future as a person?
Okay, ELSA is growing. We are hiring now here in Lisbon. We have several positions open. If some people are listening, they can go to the website, ELSA website, and ELSA Careers and check that. For ELSA, I really want for a lot more people to know it and a lot more people to use it. It is a tool that works, and you can take it anywhere. So it really, we were able to put technology behind that actually helps people improve their pronunciation. it's not about the language, it's not about the vocabulary, it's how do you pronounce it, which is the aspect that many people are lacking because they read, they listen, but what about speaking? And personally, I've grown a lot since the last 2 years that I've been at ELSA, 2+ years I've been at ELSA. Grown a lot as a manager, as a person, intercommunication skills with my team. I want to keep doing that, and I want to really experiment all the different phases of a startup. Life is basically a cluster of experiences, and really with ELSA I've been able to experiment some of them. We've been in some acceleration programs in the US, in here also. Yesterday we were in a presentation with Bill Gates. We have all these experiences that you're like, wow, it's like really, I can tell them to my grandsons whenever they come. So I really want to continue doing that. I really want to have fun doing that. For me, a job is a hobby you do from 9 to 5 or from 9 to 9. So
if you love it, yeah.
If you love it, I mean, I love what I do, and I just want to do a lot more of it.
And for you, for your personal life, what do you expect for the future?
Well, I have a fantastic family. I mean, we feel very well here. I have 2 children now, so it's basically like every father. I want to see my children grow healthy, learn languages, grow up as a nice person. Hopefully, so far, I think we managed to do it, and keep healthy myself.
So you were saying that it's getting more difficult to hire engineers. We have lack of them. What do you think would be a good option? What do you think we should do to attract more engineers, for them to come to our country, and for more people to study engineering?
Well, for more people to study engineering is difficult because it goes a long ways. I think there is already a lot of activities trying to discover what the true passion of kids are, and so that to let them discover what they want to do in life. I mean, not everybody has to be an engineer. I mean, who's gonna teach little kids in kindergarten? Who's going to, all the other job? We cannot have engineers picking up the garbage, or to say some. I mean, every single other job. So I think it's basically a matter here, as I mentioned before, of getting it easier and more reasonable to be able to bring in people that wanna work in Portugal with all the necessary checks, but not with any delays in the middle. I mean, there is ways that if you hand in an application, they shouldn't make you wait for 30 days just to see if there is a Portuguese person that wants to apply to that position. I think it's a bit too much, given that you can demonstrate that the market is so hot and so blocked right now that there clearly is not going to be people unless they want to leave another job and then create a position in the other job. Do you think there should kind of exist like kind of a roof for the wage, how much they make in international companies, so it would be easier for small companies to get the engineers? I don't like to advocate for applying any rules on. I like the free market. So if an international company wants to come here and pay more, yes, sure. I mean, why not? I mean, lucky whoever wants to go there and work, and they feel good in there, because it's not everything about pay. I mean, there's lots of people that are leaving big companies in the US, Google, Yahoo, Facebook, whatever, because they feel they are just one more of thousands of engineers there, and they are very well paid. They have food every day by chefs. They have their laundry done. They go to the.
It's hard to compete.
But yeah, but they get tired of it. They get bored, and then they jump out to small startups. So at some point it will also happen here. Even though nowadays you will be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make 20K more a year than my friend here that works in a small startup. 2 years down the road, we'll see how happy you will be. And it is a challenge of these companies that come here and will pay more to also make these engineers stay happy at work and think that they keep being relevant, and they're not just here implementing ABC every day that they are being told, but they can think, they can, we are used to in Portugal, in Europe, to have our own saying and always have try to bring in ourselves to the companies. So they need to feel that they do that.
You're here in our building, in BT's building. What do you think the community should do better? What do you think we should improve regarding the startups in the building, especially your startup?
So I think a lot of good job has been done. I mean, there is BTI is hosting a myriad of meetups, of external company meetings that come in. I just attended a few weeks ago one from Google, which I liked. I think a few things that could improve is bringing in people that whenever somebody senior, somebody relevant for the startup community passes by, catch him and make him give a talk. And we do that a lot in the research community, where the research centers are sort of these spots where if you visit a country, even if it's on vacation, you might contact the professor, hey, and then you go there for a couple hours, give a talk, and then the students there learn something. So this should be also happening a lot here and be a lot more advertised. Another thing is also in recruiting. I think places like BTI could be helping a lot more, making it very easy for everybody to know who's looking for a job and who's advertising for jobs. I was proposing to some people at BTI a while ago, which something that would be easy, maybe not practical, but to even post a paper on the elevator every week so that you see what jobs are being offered that week, for example. Or having a board online, I don't know, things that are easy for people to, there is a lot of recruiters out there that are sourcing candidates and are putting them in touch with companies, but those are also costly. So BTI as a good favor could do that and really could help us get good engineers with that. The third thing I think is very interesting would be Portugal has lots of great companies. And we can think of Unbubble, we can think of landing jobs, uni places, but every time I open up a newspaper, a technical newspaper talking about the hot companies in Portugal, it's the typical ones that are always there, right?
The same ones. The
same ones, and great, they do a great job. But what about the small underdogs? What about ELSA? I mean, we do awesome job. We have great technology. Nobody talks about us. So BTI could try to, this is, hopefully some people will see us here, and many other actions that can be done with us, with all the small ones around here. Let Portugal know that these companies are there. That will also help engineers to be inspired and to knock on our door.
I'll take note of that. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for the interview.